For the world's great yachting race, the America's Cup, elimination races are held off Newport, Rhode Island. The Easterner on the near side is gaining on the Weatherly in one of the final matches to determine who will represent the United States in the challenge match against Australia. 4 of America's outstanding 12-meter yachts will meet each other over both windward and leeward courses. But so far, the wind hasn't been strong enough to test the boats under the ruggedest conditions. These 2 yachts fighting it out for Uncle Sam's colors are the Nefertiti and the Columbia on the near side. The Columbia, which 4 years ago won the America's Cup for the USA against the Scepter from England, is trying to ward off the Nefertiti here to defend against the speedy Gretel from Australia. This year, the Columbia is having a tough time winning first at home. But they all know against Gretel, they'll really test their mettle.
Trailing the Nefertiti in the finale of the trial races off Newport, Rhode Island, the Weatherly, in this next scene, takes a lead she never surrenders for a 3rd victory in 3 days over the recently built Nefertiti that results in the Weatherly being named the defender of the Cup won by the Yacht America in England 103 years ago. A triumph for skipper Emil Mosbacher, Jr., White Plains, New York. Meanwhile, the crew of the Australian Challenger, the Gretel, studies the tides and currents of the waters to be sailed in the 4 out of 7 matches on which the America's Cup fate hangs, starting September 15th. On the eve of the big race for the America's Cup, President and Mrs. Kennedy are the guests of honor at Newport, Rhode Island, of Australian Ambassador Sir Howard Beale at a festive dinner to celebrate the storied international yacht race. Later, when their host takes a momentary leave, the President and Mrs. Kennedy indulge in an animated chat, providing Movietone News with an unusual opportunity to film the first citizens in a candid conversation. A rare recording of the nation's leader and his wife that results in this splendid photographic study. For the ladies, a revealing picture of Jackie's bouffant modified pompadour hairdo, her strapless evening gown and long dangling earrings. And for the men, an example of casual cigar smoking, with the chief executive and his first lady seemingly oblivious to all around them. Soon after, a presidential toast.
As the ambassador said so well, they race against each other, but they also race with each other against the wind and the sea. To the crew of the Gretel and the crew of the Weatherly.
Next day, off Newport, a mighty armada of small craft delays for an hour the start of the first race. But it finally gets underway. And the President and Mrs. Kennedy enjoy the patriotic pleasure of watching America's Weatherly take an immediate lead over Australia's Gretel. Both are enthusiastic sailors, and their watch is knowing. And they know that the Weatherly here is never going to be caught by the gallant boat and crew from down under. The first race of the 4 out of 7 goes to the defender of the 111-year-old America's Cup. The Weatherly wins by nigh 800 yards, or 3 minutes and 46 seconds. Winds and bumpy seas as the second race in the America's Cup Series gets underway over a designated 24-mile triangular course off Newport, Rhode Island. The Australian Challenger, the Gretel, is one down to the Weatherly, the United States defender of the coveted old mug won by the Yacht America in British waters 111 years ago. the 18th challenger for the America's Cup, the Australian is trying to do what over the years 17 British and Canadian bottoms failed at. Expected to make her best showing the rougher the seas, the Gretel trails on the first leg of the triangle, but not by much. Where she was minutes behind in the opening race, the challenger is but seconds today. On the second leg, with balloon spinnakers broken out on both yachts, the Gretel storms forward. The Weatherly suffers a broken spinnaker pole. Yes, it's the challenger's day today, and she exults in the heavy going that's more like the down-under waters her crew is used to. The Gretel never relinquishes her advantage. And the Diggers do it, winning number 2 to draw even in the series. But in the third sail, the winner, the Weatherly. The small craft traffic jam off Newport, Rhode Island continues as the 4th race in the America's Cup Series of 4 out of 7 gets underway. A light 6-mile wind at the start gives USA defending champion Weatherly an early advantage. The challenging Australian Gretel prefers a stiffer wind and choppier seas. And so on the first 2 legs of the triangular course, Weatherly skipper Mosbacher outmaneuvers his opponent to get the fullest pressures on his canvas. But then with spinnaker spread, the wind picks up on the third leg to 15 knots, and the Gretel cuts into the Weatherly lead with a thrill-packed charge. The late gallant rally by the Gretel provides one of the closest contests in the 111-year history of America's Cup racing. But the Weatherly wins to make it 3-1 in the series. Her 28-second margin was the smallest ever, the equivalent of a nose finish in horse racing.
Brand new face under the world's heavyweight crown, Sonny Liston. The 12-meter blue sloop Weatherly of the United States takes the lead in the final race for the world's sailing supremacy against the Gretel of Australia. So far, the U.S. has completely dominated the 111-year-old competition, and it appears Uncle Sam will win the America's Cup again. On all 4 legs of the course, both windward and leeward, the Weatherly increases her lead, but she knew she had been in a battle against the Gretel, who loses the series here off Newport, Rhode Island, 4 races to 1. The Weatherly's skipper and master tactician, Mosbacher, deserves an ocean of credit for standing off the greatest challenger his yacht had ever met.